160th consecutive sellout at Madison Square Garden. Better than 19,000 on hand for the Chicago Bulls. It is another capacity house to watch their road show. Every game this season has at home. Derek Hopper and Hubert Davis in the backcourt. Hubert shooting very well as of late, taking over for John Starks, who is back in action, available for today despite the sprained ankle. At the center spot, Patrick Ewing, Anthony Mason, and J.R. Reed starting at the forwards for Reed. It is his third start as a New York Knick. And the Knicks being run by 34-year-old Jeff Van Gundy, the one-time point guard at Nazareth College in upstate New York, now the youngest head coach in the league. In his 7th year with the Knicks, he was an assistant under Don Nelson, Pat Riley, John McLeod, and Stu Jackson. And Matt, his last coaching experience, or head coaching experience, was on the high school level in Rochester back in 1986.
Well, Marvin, it's only about an 18-inch move from the assistant's chair to the head coach's chair.
Yeah.
But it might as well be 18 million miles. It is such a big difference. And Jeff Van Gundy found out a lot about it the other night in Philadelphia in his debut, where they lost to the 76ers 100-92.
A 76er team that had lost the previous 7 straight to the Knicks. Bill Oakes, Joe DeRosa, Jim Kinsey are the officials, and the Knicks controlling the opening tip. Third of 4 meetings between these clubs. The Bulls won the previous 2, including a blowout here at the Garden back in January. J.R. Reed, who had the touch the other night against the 76ers, getting the Knicks on the board. How about the prediction by Michael, who sometimes kids, other times he's dead serious about that 60-point possibility here today. Scottie Pippen. And the rebound is handled by Patrick Ewing.
Well, he's left the possibility open. If he has a big game, he said, hey, I predicted it. If not, said, I was doing other things.
Right. Davis back for Reed. And Davis for 3. Jordan pops it down to Hopper. They like to get Hopper going early. Reed with the rebound.
Not a good shot there by Ron Harper. The Bulls normally a very good offensive transition team, but usually they get a better shot than that. All the defense was back.
And Derek Hopper off the mark, rebounded by Dennis Rodman, who leads the NBA, averaging 15 per game. Here's Jordan for 3.
Uh-oh. That's a pretty way to go to start on a 50 or 60-point ball game. J.R. Reed getting the start primarily to battle Dennis Rodman and keep him off the offensive glass. However, Reed is being played by Pippen right now at the other end.
Anthony Mason. The Knicks 4 and the Bulls 3. The Bulls try to break, but the Knicks got back. Longley, though, does beat Ewing down court. Won't count. But a foul is called before the shot attempt. The last time the Bulls and Knicks played at the Garden, January 23rd, Bulls won 99-79, and Luke Longley severely outplayed Patrick Ewing. Longley 7 of 11, 14 points, 10 rebounds. Ewing did not have a good one at 5 of 17 from the field. The foul was called on Rodman.
Well, the Knicks want J.R. Reed to be as physical as possible within reason. He never did make body contact with Rodman there, but had good inside position. I say as possible because when J.R. Reed does get a little bit too physical, we saw what happened a couple of weeks ago with the forearm shiver to the jaw of A.C. Green.
Chicago Bulls, 6 losses have all taken place on the road at Miami, Phoenix, Denver, Indiana, Seattle, and Orlando. The last loss February 23rd in Miami. Longley with the move on Reed, goes to the spin, and then a second option. Crowd wanted to travel, and the rebound is handled by Reed.
Terrific defense that time by the Knicks as they rotated well, challenged the shot, did a good job on the boards. This is the identity that the Knicks want to get back to.
Reed, and the Knicks are off to a good start. They are up 8-3. Well, in the past, there was so much conversation as Jordan lost the dribble off his foot about the long practices conducted by Pat Riley. Players were complaining that the practices that were run by Don Nelson were too short. I get the idea it was a message yesterday from Jeff Van Gundy. His first full practice went 3.5 hours.
Now, an hour of that was talking and looking at tape, however. but that's still a long practice for a Saturday before a somewhat of a Sunday afternoon evening game.
You're saying it's a 5:30 game?
Somewhere
Eastern
in that
time,
area.
is that it? Kept alive by a hopper, and they get the new 24. And Jordan was looking for Longley, who says, my mistake.
And another reason for the long practice, you have a new coach getting his first full practice and wanting to make a lot of statements to his team and get everybody on that first page together.
Well, with the departure of Don Nelson on Friday, here is Ewing. Yes. And the Knicks lead 10-3. What was most disturbing to Knicks management, the feeling of the team quitting on Nelson in that terrible low-energy defeat to the LA Clippers this past Tuesday here at the Garden. Pippen not able to hit, and it was deflected out. The officials checking with each other. Last touched by the Bulls. Matt, once a team quits on a coach, is it over or can it be recaptured? I thought there were times last season in observing the Knicks that even Pat Riley was not able to get the message across, and I think it was one of the reasons that contributed among many to his departure.
Yeah, but it's just not that the players quitting on the coach. It's the whole coaching staff and their teammates and the organization and the fans. But you're going to have paired performances from time to time and a streak of them. Let's face it, the Knicks have had their share of injuries. But you're right, Marv, that performance Tuesday night against the Clippers was very sorry.
But a very promising start by the Knicks. Here tonight, they have taken a 12-3 lead off an 10-0 run, and they're up 12-3.
Well, Patrick Ewing saying that he was going to get more inside. You can't get any further out other than a three-pointer, but Patrick can face up and score, and here, the tough runner by Ewing on the finish.
For the Knicks, it's been a grueling 48 hours. It began Friday morning with the dismissal of Don Nelson after only 59 games, with longtime assistant Jeff Van Gundy taking over. The Knicks say it is not necessarily interim, but there certainly is the possibility of that Knick job opening for next season. Does that change the ongoing contract negotiations for the one-time Knick? Bulls head coach Phil Jackson, we talked about it yesterday with Phil.
Of course it changes things. I mean, one of the things when I started, obviously, talking to the Knicks, to the management about a new job and a new contract, was the fact that there were no really availabilities in this league with contending teams open. Suddenly, over the course of the season, there are many jobs that are open, and things like that change dramatically the opportunities that a person has to go to. As far as in our mind as to whether the loyalties lie to this basketball club and the players and the management, I still have loyalties here.
But is this now a factor? Could something happen in that direction?
I don't know. I really don't.
Well, no question about it. Phil Jackson is in the catbird seat with his team at 54-6, wide open as far as a free agent at the end of the year. It looks like he's going to use this, as Luke Vonleh knocks one in, as he's going to use this to the best of his advantage.
Are you saying Phil knows how to spell the word leverage? I don't think Jerry Krause and Bulls management was that delighted with the departure of Don Nelson. Ewing is now 4 of 5, and the Knicks now lead 14-5. And Michael Jordan has been kidding, at least in the locker room. Of course, Michael will be a free agent following this season. He's saying to Phil, hey, you and me, we go to New York as a package. So that's been a thrilling thing to hear for Jerry Reinsdorf and Jerry Krause.
Well, Michael being Phil's biggest endorser only strengthens Phil Jackson's position that much more.
J.R. Reed continuing the Knick onslaught. They've opened up by hitting 8 of their first 11, and they lead 16-5. And the foul is called on Harper. Holding foul indicated by Bill Oakes.
I'll tell you what, when you start knocking down jump shots, as the Knicks are in this first quarter, it makes your new identity of defense look that much better. But so far, the Bulls with only 5 points. Take it 7.
Yes, Michael Jordan flying to the basket, 16-7. The Knicks with the lead, and Jordan with 5 points. He's hit 2 of 3 from the field. 6:20 to go in this opening quarter. They double up on Ewing, and the steal by Pippen. He has Hopper on the wing. Here's Hoffer whipping by Davis. The Knicks lead 16-9. Ewing. Oh, he is on fire. Patrick Ewing with 10 points here halfway through the first quarter. We're told that Peter Vesey just had a phone conversation with Chicago Bulls principal owner Jerry Reinsdorf on the subject of Michael Jordan and Phil Jackson. And we will hear the response of Jerry Reinsdorf at halftime. Knicks 18 and the Bulls 9. Knicks 9 of 12 from the field here at the start. Illegal defense to call against the Bulls.
Well, as soon as you think you're playing good defense against the Chicago Bulls, here goes a nice little handoff to Michael Jordan, always moving without the ball once they get into their triangle offense. And Derek Harper just not making the quick move to step out and stop that play, take the charge, or foul.
Davis for Mason. Played on a switch by Jordan. Mason trying to take him to the hoop. Davis for three. And slapped aside by Reed. J.R. Reed has been very aggressive here at the start, in particular off the offensive boards, where the Knicks have had major problems. Last in the NBA in offensive rebounding, averaging only 10 per game. Patrick Ewing with only 5 offensive rebounds the last 5 games. Scottie Pippen getting inside, and the Knicks now lead 18-11.
Big height advantage inside for Pippen against Derek Harper. Took advantage of it.
Hubert Davis. That's his first field goal. Hubert really on a roll recently, although did not have a good shooting second half against the Sixers on Friday night and finished 6 of 15. Jordan for Harper. Did not have the shot. Longley with the recovery. Good play by Luke Longley. Shot clock is down to 5. Pippen going at Harper. And Reed on the rebound. Knicks have a 4-on-3. Davis had it knocked away. Broken up by Harper.
Marv, you mentioned the problems the Knicks have had on the offensive boards, dead last. Now, part of that lately is the absence of Charles Oakley, who will give you about 3 a game. But even when Oakley was here, they were still not a good offensive rebounding team. A lot has to do with the way that the Knicks play offense. They're just not ready when the shot goes up to climb the glass. And when you have Patrick Ewing, your biggest player, we see Charles Oakley, who's out till April 1st with that thumb injury. But Patrick Ewing, your biggest man, is generally on the perimeter taking jump shots. And Oakley also does not play inside. He is a perimeter jump shooter as well. So that leaves Anthony Mason as your primary offensive rebounder.
The Bulls foul was called on Longley. The Knicks have won only 4 of 14 since Oakley was sidelined. They were 30-16 when Oakley went down with the injury. Nice fake by Davis with the
shot back at Madison Square Garden. I'm joined now by Charles Oakley. And Charles, with this coaching change, what has been the attitude of the players the last couple of days?
It's a great attitude. I think that we've been around Jeff for 7 years. I've been 8 years, and some of the newer guys know that he's a hard-working guy, and he's willing to do whatever it takes.
A lot of people thought coming in here against the Chicago Bulls, you guys would be in a lot of trouble, but it appears that he's gotten you ready to play.
Well, in the past, we always play in Chicago tough, but last time they blew us out. But the mindset from yesterday's practice to today, it was great, and we knew we were going to come out and do into a great start. We knew we had to come out early on Chicago.
How long before you're back ready to play?
2 or 3 weeks.
All right. Thanks, Charles. All right, back to you, Marv.
Thank you, Ahmad. Charles Oakley recovering from that fractured right thumb. John Starks on the floor for the first time. Sat out the previous game against the Sixers with a sprained ankle. Starks cutting away from Harper. Mason could not see him, and then Mason able to hit his second field goal. Knicks 24, the Bulls 13 with 2:40 left in this opening quarter. The Bulls remaining the same following the timeout. Here is Jordan. And the rebound, Pippen. And J.R. Reed doing a very good job off the board. That's his 5th rebound. J.R. Reed and Dennis Rodman were teammates with the Spurs last season. Patrick Ewing. 12 points for Ewing on 6 of 7 shooting.
Well, we talked in the opening about Patrick going to be inside more. The 2 times that he has gone inside, he has gotten double team, had to give the ball up. At least when he's 18, 20 feet away, he can face up. And when he's making his jumper like this, it's okay. But eventually, he's got to move inside.
The Knicks 12 of 16 from the field. Jordan played by Mason. Rebounded by Longley. Crowd wanted to travel. Pippen. Scottie Pippen getting the roll. And the Knicks now lead 26-15. Pippen is 2 of 7 from the field. Scottie's numbers have been down as of late. Had a 5 of 17 in the Bulls' last game on Thursday against Detroit. The game that saw Michael Jordan hit for 53 points. That's a 3-point attempt by Harper, whose shooting has fallen off as of late. Michael Jordan, his first 50-point performance at the new United Center. How about 53 points in 38 minutes against the Pistons? Now Pippen going at Starks, and a foul. It's a block on Starks, who is trying to draw the charge.
Well, there's so many difficult matchups for the Knicks, mainly because Anthony Mason has drawn the assignment of guarding Michael Jordan. As I said a little while ago, that's what they did in the second half when they played back in January, and it worked pretty well. Although that was a 20-point win for the. Here's a little pick and pop for Luke Longley, and really they don't get out there in time for Luke Longley to get the wide open shot.
And off the steal, Mason leads the break. Harper. Knicks 28, and the Bulls 15, 45 seconds remaining in this first quarter. Now Willie Anderson just checked in for the Knicks, guarding Michael Jordan. Jordan able to slip by Anderson, and then Ewing. So Michael goes to the finesse move, and it's now an 11-point Knick lead.
It looks like anytime the Bulls want to run a pick-and-roll situation, Michael Jordan's going to be able to make something happen. Patrick Ewing not quick enough to get out and double.
Starks hitting the 3. John Starks, who was involved with former Knicks coach Don Nelson, who what turned out to be a bitter public feud. Very popular here at the Garden, and certainly hearing the support. As this first quarter winds down, a foul is called on Anderson. Well, the celebrities have turned out here at Madison Square Garden tonight. Matthew Modine, boxer Oscar De La Hoya, who will be going up against Julio Cesar Chavez. El McPherson on hand. Liam Neeson. And the artist formerly known as Prince. And Matt, you know, I've always wanted to say that. Second quarter about to get underway. Marv Albert, Matt Gukas, and Ahmad Rashad. The Knicks 31 and the Bulls 19. A red-hot shooting. Opening quarter for the Knicks, 14 of 20 from the field, while the Bulls only 8 for 21. Steve Kerr, Tony Kukoc, Dennis Rodman, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen. On the floor for the Bulls. Herb Williams has come on for the Knicks. Michael Jordan has been off, and he loves to play here in New York. Just about a year ago, in making his return to basketball, he scored 55 points in a game here at the Garden. Anderson got the step. Willie Anderson came over in the trade from the Toronto Raptors, playing range, where he's 8 for his last 11. The Knicks lead 33-21. Starks for 3. So John Starks has hit on his first 2 3-point attempts. And the Knicks lead by 15. Minute and a half gone by in the second. Kerr on a quick release. Rodman with the tip. And Mason pushing down. Ward gives it back. Starks setting up against Pippen. And fires. Not a good shot. by John Starks, but it's rebounded by Herb Williams. Knicks doing the job off the board. Starks backs to three-point territory. Yes.
John has reverted to the way that he was playing last year. And, of course, Jeff Van Gundy, being a disciple of Pat Riley, appears, at least at this point, to have given John back that green light.
Well, he needs the fire and needs it in all aspects of his game. Jordan with a terrific driving move and the foul. So Jordan will go to the line. Foul committed by Anderson. John Starks lighting it up from long range. Starks 3 of 4 from the field. He has 8 points in all. Backs to three-point territory and is able to hit.
And Michael Jordan, sensing an opening in the lane, knifes in between all of the defense, able to score and draw the foul.
On a 36-degree beautiful night. Let's check in with Ahmad Rashad, who is right near the Bulls bench. Ahmad?
All right, thanks, Marv. Phil Jackson a little bit upset about the slow start by the Bulls. Said they're not only being lax, but they're almost playing disinterested. He said they got to tune it up on the defensive end with more intensity and start playing the type of basketball that they play. Marv?
All right, Ahmad. Michael Jordan on the line looking to complete a three-point play. And he does. He has 12. And the Knicks lead is now 38-24.
And the Bulls going to full court pressure as they normally do after a free throw situation. In the past, in other years against Knicks teams, the Bulls were able to befuddle New York's ball handling.
Herb Williams posting up now on Tony Kukoc. Goes to the jump hook. The 38-year-old Herb Williams started the previous two games. He's played well since coming back from Toronto after the Raptors waived him. Jordan. And he is fouled. Herb Williams played one game as a member of the Toronto Raptors. Actually played 31 minutes. He had been traded by the Knicks to Toronto right before the trade deadline. Played that one game, then was waived, re-signed by the Knicks. He said his return to Toronto with the Knicks this past week was very emotional.
Well, he got to know a lot of people and like them in such a short period of time.
Of course. Knicks continue to do the job off the boards, which had been a weakness. Mason gets it off to Starks. And rebounded by Jordan. Anthony Mason already with 6 assists in this first half. Jordan with the pull-up. Yes. Michael Jordan cuts it to a 12-point Knick lead, and Jordan beginning to show some signs. 14 for Michael. Jordan on the rejection. The save by Kukoc. The look away. Jordan with the beautiful pass. Nice swinging the ball by the Knicks. Hopper. Yes. Well, we are seeing things by Knicks. 37 with 4:35 remaining in the first half. Hopper had it knocked away but recovered by Starks. Here's Ewing giving it back. Ewing facing single coverage from Edwards. Patrick Ewing, 7 of 10 from the
things up. He already has 6 assists in the ball game. Here, just using his bulk and his strength, backing in on Scottie Pippen. And
for 3. A rare offensive rebound by the Knicks. Ewing going at long range. Limping off the floor. That gets the crowd going. And you see the game face has returned to Patrick Ewing. That was not the case for most of the season. Well, just a moment ago, Patrick Ewing ignited the crowd with this emphatic stuff. Take a listen. Back at the Garden, this the third of 4 meetings this season between the Knicks and the Bulls. The Bulls have won the previous 2. A look at the scoring rundown of the first half. Jordan with 19, the only Bull in double figures. 10 for Starks, 16 for Ewing. John Starks with a good effort coming off the bench after sitting out the previous game with the sprained ankle. So the third quarter is underway, and here is Jordan. Yes. The Knicks 50. and the Bulls 44. Jordan with the show the ball move and then lost the handle. Jordan for three. Michael Jordan makes it 10 unanswered by Chicago. And the Bulls are within three. Here's some pressure from Pippen. We have not seen any trapping by the Bulls, who like to do it from time to time against the Knicks. Pippen with the block. Rejecting Reed. Jordan for Rodman. It's a one-point lead and a quick timeout being called. Bob changed his mind with Ewing getting a piece of the ball. Pippen for three. Scottie Pippen from downtown, and the Bulls with the lead for the first time since the early moments when they were up 3-2.
And this is when the Knicks have to settle down and make sure they get a good shot, preferably going to the basket. Again, the Knicks just do not get to the foul line. Just 7 for 10 the other night in that loss to Philadelphia.
Davis. Well, the Knicks do not drive the ball frequently enough to get to the line.
And Hubert Davis did it there, and he can do that. And, of course, he can set it up because he's such a good perimeter shooter. The Bulls, I should say, the Knicks just 6 for 7 from the line so far in this one.
Now Pippen with the post up, able to go glass. So Scottie Pippen, after the slow start, has come on, and the Bulls in the midst of a 17-1 run, going with his 9th rebound. Jordan is now 9 for 18 from the field. Hopper hits a three for Derek Hopper. The Knicks have missed their previous 9 shots. The game is tied at 54. Now Willie Anderson will take a crack at Michael Jordan. Knicks have been mixing it up defensively. Jordan talking to Anderson. Goes to the pull-up. Oh, you know the rims love Michael Jordan when you get that kind of roll.
Well, the shot before was way off and caught the back of the rim and almost fell in, and Michael shook his head again. He almost was surprised himself. That brick, he said to himself, almost went in.
Bad pass by Hopper, and the Bulls get it back. They lead 56-54. The Knicks led by as many as 17 points in the first half. Now Davis on Hopper. Pippen facing the double team. Good play by Davis. Has a 3-on-2, but Jordan is back. Here's Davis, the traveler. Had very little room to operate. And back comes Jordan. Oh, the ball fake leading to the jumper this time. He did not get the friendly roll. Davis with room for three. The Knicks lead by 1 with 5 minutes gone by here in the third.
Well, so far the Knicks hanging tough, taking the Bulls' tough shot here right now at both ends of the floor. The Bulls have turned it up defensively and moving the ball much better at the offensive end.
Mix up on the pass from Rodman to Pippen, so the Knicks will get it back. A timeout is called. Michael Jordan, Clyde Frazier, and Matt Guokas would just enthrall the crowd with his defensive work.
It's terrific footwork you could see there.
Yes.
I don't know how I didn't trip there.
Ewing, yes. And the Knicks with a 59-56 advantage. 6.5 left in the third quarter. Scottie Pippen was turned it here in the third. Longley trying to get it to Jordan, broken up by Anderson.
And right away, Michael Jordan looking to Luke Longley and showing him where to throw that pass away from the defense. Michael sticking out his left hand. It was a well-executed play until the pass attempt by Luke Longley.
7 on the 24. Anderson with the steal.
And that time, Michael didn't come hard enough to meet the ball.
They double up on Ewing. Hopper open for three. Derek Hopper has 10 points. He's hit his last 2, both from downtown. And the Knicks with a 6-point lead. Longley. And a loose ball foul. It's on Rodman. That is his third.
Well, things weren't working well for Anthony Mason. Jeff Van Gundy putting the 6'7" Willie Anderson quicker feet, and Michael Jordan by not coming hard to the ball. A good defensive play by Willie Anderson, who does a nice job here swinging the ball, and that all started from the double team on Patrick Ewing as Derek Harper knocks one down.
And the Knicks have reacted well after that 17-1 run by the Bulls. Harper again. He's hit his last three. Two from downtown on the two-pointer right here, and the Knicks in the midst of a 13-2 run after falling behind by 3. They're up by 8 once again. Jordan to the fadeaway. The Knicks 64 and the Bulls 58. Michael with 28. 5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Mason protecting the dribble. Ewing banking Longley. And Rodman on the rebound. And for Dennis Rodman, that is his 8th rebound after the slow start. Rodman being guarded by Ewing. Jordan able to put the move on Mason. Longley missed the tip. And back comes Anderson. Harper for 3. Yes. He's hit his last 4. 3 from three-point range, and the Knicks lead 67-58.
Well, that is confidence. Actually, the Knicks had a transition situation. Could have gone to the basket, but the way that Derek is shooting it from beyond the arc, hey, why not?
4:14 left in the third, and the Knicks are up by 9. Scottie Pippen coming up short on the turnaround. Knicks with a 9-point lead. Davis. Anderson missed the tip. Ewing with the rebound. So the Knicks with a very strong reaction after that run by the Bulls that extended to 17-1. They have answered with an 18-4 spurt and lead by 11. Tony Kukoc back on the floor, backing his way on Willie Anderson. Rejected by Ewing. Recovered by Longley. Knocked away by Mason. Davis with curl back. Goes at him with the... You got beat. And here comes Harper. Pulls it up for 3. Well, Derek Harper, who has not shot well, did not shoot well in the first half, has turned it around. 14 of his 18 have come here in the third quarter. It is a Michael Jordan-like performance in this third quarter for Derek Harper. And the Knicks lead by 14 points. Reed gets to the loose ball. Harper with Kukoc back. Regroups. And then fires. And hits. Standing ovation from this capacity crowd here at the Garden as the Knicks have bounced back after the run by the Bulls and lead by 16. Final seconds of the third. Offensive foul call. Foul on Jordan, pushing out as he set up on the spin. Final seconds of the third. Ewing for 3. Derek Harper with 16 points in the third. 16 of his 20. 4 of 4 from three-point range here in the third quarter. The Knicks by 16. We'll be back after these words from your local station. 18-point advantage. It's their biggest lead of the game. But in recent weeks, the Knicks have had big trouble in the fourth quarter. There you see, outscored by an average of 27 to 17 the last 7 games. They have blown games, particularly on the recent West Coast trip in the fourth quarter. John Starks in the face of Steve Kerr. And a foul call.
Well, John Starks has to be very careful here about taunting, and referee Billy Oakes letting him know about it. But John made a mistake in the first half, leaving Kerr open. Ever since Kerr has come back, and now we do have a technical foul on John Starks and on Steve Kerr.
Double technical call. The foul was actually called away from the ball on Herb Williams.
And Starks continues to jaw at Steve Kerr, but he does not want to make that same mistake, leaving Kerr open for anything.
You get the idea, Matt, that John Starks has been encouraged to get back to his old fiery self. Foul on Mason.
Well, there's no question that John Starks had been a very frustrated player throughout much of the year because he had so much freedom in the past, being able to pretty much shoot the ball anytime he wanted. He was the 2 of the 1-2 punch with Patrick Ewing, and things changed.
Michael Jordan with a beautiful finger roll, and the Knicks now lead 78-62. A minute gone by in the fourth quarter. Mason fouled by Edwards.
Well, Michael Jordan has been pretty much the lone offensive thrust for the Chicago Bulls. Nobody else really able to get involved, as he's able to get inside and go right through J.R. Reed. But the only way the Bulls are going to get back into this ball game, really, though, is defensively, by creating some turnovers, force some tough shots, rebound, and then go. But right now, other than Jordan and Pippen, the Bulls do not have a defensive team out there. James Edwards is more of a scorer. Jason Caffey, just a rookie, and Steve Kerr, not a aggressive defensive player as far as pressure, as Derek Harper hears it from the crowd after shooting beautifully in that third quarter.
Harper sitting down with 20 points. And the Knicks now lead 80-62. Charlie Ward replacing Derek Harper. The last time the Bulls were at the Garden, taking it out of the hands of Caffey. The Chicago Bulls blew out the Knicks late January 99-79. Here's Mason. Yes. And the Knicks now lead by 20. And after that game, Dennis Rodman, in fact, there was headlines here in the New York area, called the Knicks yellow. He indicated that they had quit. And there are several Knicks players who remember the statements by Rodman after the game and did discuss it earlier today. Dennis's hair on the yellow side for tonight's game. Not that you would think the Knicks would need motivation, as Mason was stopped by Pippen after the good spin. Charlie Ward hits the 3. In the situation the Knicks are in, they're just desperate for a victory, but they have come out here all pumped up. And despite the good charge by the Bulls, able to recover, and they have their biggest lead of the night. In early February, 106-96. They are trailing here by 23. Ward for 3. Yes.
They really have taken to it quite well, and one of the sayings that they had in the stands was, yes, and it counts. I thought you'd be proud to hear that.
No, you're making that up.
I'm not. No, I'm not. Okay, I am.
6.5 remaining in the fourth quarter. A 90-64 Knick lead. Here's Kerr for 3. Just under 6 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Round being played by Ward. And as Kerr got it off the screen, the offensive foul.
And he's in that mode now where he's just trying to do everything. They're throwing him the ball and just standing around. And I guess things happen like that when you don't play well defensively, which the Bulls have not done. Again, other than that little bit in the third quarter, your offense looks bad as well.
Meanwhile, the Knicks are very loose. Patrick Ewing with 24 extends to the 92-69 lead. This is a Knicks team that comes in losing 7 of their last 9 games. Oh, what a fake by Jordan, but could not convert. He had Starks going to the floor on that head fake.
And you got to wonder a little bit at this point why Michael Jordan is still in the game. Scottie Pippen and Rodman were long gone for the last 3 or 4 minutes, but Michael Jordan remains.
I think Phil Jackson was hoping for one final burst. Charlie Ward rebounded by Luke Longley. And in watching Jeff Van Gundy, the new Knicks coach on the sideline, much more active, particularly when the Knicks are on the defensive end, than he was in his head coaching debut on Friday night in Philadelphia. You know, you think of a guy who had not been a head coach since high school days in Rochester back in '86. Here's Longley. He's still developing his sideline personality. Ewing getting down court on the break.
After 2 games, too, I think we're going to see a change every time he steps on the sidelines the rest of this season.
Well, you can see it already. He was very pensive the other night. Here's Brown. And Ewing with the rebound. But he is very active here tonight.
I can't even describe to you what goes through your mind the first time that you're ever a head coach on any level, but you can imagine what it's like on the NBA level. Not only what's going through your mind, what's going through your stomach.
Hopper gets it off. Yes! And it counts! And that's the way it has gone for Derek Hopper and the New York Knicks in the second half. Timeout called by the Knicks with 2:51 remaining in the fourth. The Knicks are now up 96-69. Hopper protecting the dribble, able to slice his way through, goes glass and hits. And when we come back, he'll be at the foul line.
Had the outside shot going, and they got the big game from Patrick, scoring and rebounding.
And we have not seen that smile on the face of Patrick Ewing for some time. And you can see the reaction. Jeff Van Gundy in his second game as head coach of the New York Knicks, taking over for Don Nelson. This is a club that was, for the most part, very unhappy, particularly the last couple of weeks, due to what many players felt was confusion on the part of the substitution pattern from Don Nelson. And it went public. Talked earlier about the feud with John Starks. Patrick Ewing obviously not happy with the style of Don Nelson. Not to say that it was right or wrong, and this is a very tough group, as we discussed earlier, but a very happy club this evening. On the other hand, it's one of those games for the Chicago Bulls. Obviously, their worst of the season as Hubert Davis adds to the Knicks lead, 100-69 lead. Derek Hopper receiving a standing ovation. He helped turn the game in the second half. For Hopper, 23 points, 6 assists. Just too shy of a season high. 9 of 13 from the field overall. Brad Lohaus has checked in. Here's Ward. He beat Kerr off the ground. Turned it over 6 times. The ovation continues for the Knicks. A high-energy, pumped-up performance by this Knicks team that has been struggling. They will go to 35 and 26. Starks, yes! Down to 20 seconds. But now the problem facing Jeff Van Gundy, because this is a Knicks squad that tends to celebrate prematurely and tends to feel that one victory is the end-all. It's got to be Kerr.
And that's the big question. How are they going to build on this? They got a game with Minnesota coming up in the middle of the week. Philadelphia at the end of the week, a chance to do a little business.
So the Knicks defeat the Bulls 104-72. A score that will raise eyebrows throughout the NBA.
Derek Harper grabbing that basketball, no doubt, to give it to Jeff Van Gundy for his first win.
Now let's go over to Ahmad with one of the Knick heroes tonight, Patrick Ewing. Ahmad?
All right, thanks, Mark. Patrick, I have not seen you smiling as much as you were at the end of this game. A great performance by your team today.
Oh, definitely. We came out, we knew what we had to do, we got it done. You know, last time we played the Bulls, Scotty was talking a lot of trash that Madison Square Garden was his house. Well, we had to let him know that it's still ours.
You know that you guys you played well offensively, but defensively, it seemed that you had a lot of effort on the defensive end.
Yeah, definitely. We wanted to get back to the way that we played defense in the past. You know, the entire year we haven't been playing defense the way that we're constantly playing it. And with Jeff, we're trying to get back to that.
What about the difference with Jeff? What's the difference between Jeff and Nelly? How's it been the last couple of days?
It's been a lot different. We're going back to the way that we used to be with Pat. You know, long practices, running, jumping, just doing banging, bumping, just scratching the clone, just doing everything that we have to do to get the win.
And all that stuff seems to make you very happy.
Oh, it makes this working, and you know, we just got to salvage the rest of the season, just keep on going.
All right, Patrick, good luck to you.
Thanks, Lamar. Let me say hello to my father this time, since you didn't do it at the All-Star
You've been wanting to do this for a while. Look right in the camera and say hello.
Pops, hello. What's up?
All right, thanks, Pat. Back to you, Marv.
Is the NBA on NBC. Tonight, the New York Knicks versus the Chicago Bulls.
Another sellout at the United Center, a foregone conclusion tonight as the 82-game grind, which is the prelude to the playoffs, comes to a close. This game is not without some meaning for the Chicago Bulls. They have the best record in the Eastern Conference. They're a game behind the Utah Jazz overall.
Him early, wait for double teaming him later in the game, so he will get big numbers.
But let's not get too complicated. Here's Houston. Jumper in the lane is there.
He has such
in career three-point percentage, drills one heel. Starks comes back and answers.
They have absolutely no shot blocking in the game right now. Chicago is either taking the ball to the basket and getting fouled or getting to the front of the rim and scoring easy layups.
A lot of the Knicks' size and muscle on the bench across the way in street clothes as Cummings forces one up and banks it home. Larry Johnson, Charles Oakley, Chris Dudley, Patrick Ewing, all in street clothes across the way.
Well, we know if Charles Oakley was in the game, there would be some hard fouls in the lane, that's for sure.
Cummings all the way to the hoop. Ward around a screen with his dribble. Cummings lays it off for Houston.
New York is playing so well right now. Their rhythm, their timing, their confidence. Going into the playoffs, I don't think Miami really wants to see this time.
Who scored 19. Make it 21.
How beautiful is that jump shot? The release, the rotation. He's such an effortless player that sometimes you feel like that he's not giving.
Jeff Van Gundy told us yesterday Patrick Ewing definitely will be on the playoff roster. They don't expect to be able to use him in the first-round matchup with Miami, maybe optimistically in a fifth and deciding game if there is one. But if they advance past the Heat in an upset, they think that Ewing could play in the next round.
But the thing that you love about Patrick Ewing, even though he's hurt and he's injured, he still travels with the team. He's there every single night. The presence of Patrick Ewing on that bench, being around the players, hasn't walked away from the teams. He's involved with the game planning. He's involved with the coaching. Allen Houston has picked it up since Ewing has been gone. However, when Ewing comes back, his presence in the middle as a rebounder and a shot blocker will be more important than his offensive scoring.
Last year at closer to full strength, the Knicks won 57. But considering everything, Ewing just the biggest of the absences. A lot of other guys spent long stretches on the injured list, important contributors, winning 43 to this point this season, maybe an even better coaching job for Jeff Van Gundy. Simpkins makes one of two. Jordan is back in the game. The Knicks lead by a basket. Childs hits the off-balance runner.
See, Chris Childs really has more of a scorer's mentality. He really thinks shoot first and pass second. I think you saw him in that possession.
What about that hoop from 2 point guards in the game at the same time as they have at various points in this game has worked pretty well for the Knicks. Childs and Ward. Here comes Pippen. Burrell, now Michael. Timeout New York. Rodman screening for Jordan, who takes on just about the whole New York defense to bring his total to 41.
And that's to be wide open for the shot.
But he can't hit it. It was halfway down and came out. And as Ward grabbed the rebound, there's a foul on the play. I thought for a second that Ward was calling timeout.
Steve Javi showed great patience here because Chris Giles really should have gotten a technical foul for what he did after the play. And Steve Javi watched him the whole time. And the reason he didn't give him to him is because the score, he did not want to determine the game with that. But you see Chris Giles and Michael. Now watch Chris Giles, and you see him get upset. That normally warrants a technical.
And as has so often been the case with the Knicks against the Bulls, they come close, but they fall short. Possibly his last regular season game. He ends with 44, meaning Shaq.